Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to talk about the game treatment for AskManager. In the first section of this game treatment, we find the summary. AskManager is a 3-level online educational game intended for training of entry-level assistant managers or assistant directors. These trainees are being prepared to work in a cross-functional office environment. AskManager is designed as a single-player interactive game. Throughout the game, the player will experience 3 different levels: warehouse, data room, and conference suite level. In each of the levels, the player will have to resolve a scenario given by non-player characters, or also called in the game les aides. Once the player resolves the scenario, the player will obtain a clé, or an inventory item, to prove having obtained the skill for each of the scenarios. AskManager can be played in the safe mode, which means that there is no time constraint to complete each of the scenarios, or it can be played as in a normal mode where the player will have 20 minutes to resolve the scenario. AskManager doesn't have an end goal. Instead, it provides different scenarios for reinforcement of ideas and concepts. The next section in this game treatment is the game genre. AskManager is an adventure single-player game in which the player will select an avatar to complete the different quests or challenges in the game. The player will use different keyboard commands to operate the avatar. Some of these commands include the WASD commands to move around, to go forward, backwards, to the right, or to the left. Other commands include C for collect, O for open, K for ask, T for type, R for run, or I for inventory. Once all the scenarios are designed for the single player to complete the task and to obtain a different inventory item to prove that he or she has obtained a skill. The next section in this game treatment outlines the different learning goals and objectives. Among those goals, we find the player or trainee will be able to outline effective communication principles for cooperation and managing needed for the role of assistant manager or assistant director. Also, by completing the different scenarios, the learner will obtain the skills to demonstrate the capacity to delegate the responsibilities to others effectively to maintain and improve a workflow of a department or work unit. As well, the learner will be able to apply effective communication skills to conduct meetings, workshops, one-on-one coaching, and training. The next section outlines the story how AskManager serves for training. The different scenarios and challenges intended to help the player develop effective communication and managing skills to be used in a cross-functional business unit. AskManager allows the player to reflect on possible logical solutions. In this process, the player learns what factors to take into consideration when dealing with a particular situation. The next section outlines the storyline for AskManager. The game begins when the player accesses the online interactive game, selects an avatar, and starts exploring the different levels to find the aide who will explain the quest or challenge, and then move on to find the different other non-player characters who will provide the scenarios to complete, and obtain the inventory items to be able to move to the next level. Next, we find the different characters in AskManager. Les associés are Anders and Lisbeth. These are the avatars that the player can select from at the beginning of the game. Les Ailes are the different non-player characters found throughout all the levels who provide the quest and the inventory items once the scenario is resolved. In this section, we find the clues or inventory items obtained by the player once the scenario is resolved. Among those, we find the clipboard, which proves the collaboration skill. We find also the checkmark, which proves the communication skill. Next, we find the 3 descriptions for the different scenarios: warehouse level, data room level, and also the conference suite level, who are designed to resemble these scenarios. Lastly, we find the different scenarios outlined, and we find the flowchart that explains how the game mechanics works and the different commands used. Thank you for watching and for listening.